Hey Ottawa, this is your Monday Market Snapshot for Monday, December 11th, 2023. My name is Annalee Rice. I'm a realtor here in Ottawa, Ontario, and every week I bring you the details on what's going on in the Ottawa real estate market. For today's update, I'll include some of the charts and stuff from the month end from November, but I've also got the Ottawa Real Estate Board stats. Okay, let's get to it. First off, let's look at citywide. We've got the active listings dropped by another 115 this last week. Most notably, it's in the detached market, although townhomes is a pretty high percentage as well. The sales did drop this week. It was down by 24. We had 125 sales across the city this past week, and it was most notably in the townhomes that was the decrease. Okay, so here we have the graph form of the inventory and sales, and I share this every week, but I did want to point out one thing here. We can see that although the inventory has been dropping quite significantly over the last about month and a half, I want you to look back at the very beginning of this chart. So this is for the whole of 2023. So the beginning of the chart is back in January, February, and you can see the green line, the active inventory, was pretty solidly stuck at about 1,350 to 1,400 active listings straight through until about March. And here we are now, we're a little below 2,000 active inventory. Our sales levels are about the same now as they are in early spring. We're in early spring. Although I do think they're going to continue to drop off a little bit over the next couple weeks, but the sales are about the same, but the active inventory right now is 40% higher than what it was in the early months of 2023. And if you consider where we were just at the, mid-late October before we started really dropping off on the inventory was 85% higher than what we had at the beginning of 2023. So I just wanted to mention that to put it into perspective of how many extra homes we have on the market right now, and sales are that much slower. Okay, so for listing breakdown, we had 154 properties that were listed this week. 50 of those properties, or 32%, were relisted properties, and 104, or 68%, were new to the market properties this week. For the second week in a row, we've got more sales than we have new to the market listings. And again, last week I was saying it was a bit of a blip, and it's still possible that the sales, I think it's more likely that the sales are going to drop off more quickly, and it's possible that the new listings might stay sort of at that 100 or so, 100, 125, 150 per week. So we'll see how long this inversion of sales to new listing actually lasts. Okay, so for sales, we had 18% of the sales that happened this week were with no conditions, and so 82% with conditions. And the last four-week average of that is at 19 and 81. Only 3% of the sales happened within 7 days or less. That was only 4 sales, so it's not very many. And 75%, or 3 of those sales, sold with no conditions. So the number of sales within 7 days, obviously very, very low. Remember that last week we had a very low number of new listings. Again, this week, very low number of new listings. So I guess that contributes to why there weren't very many sales quickly within that first week. We had 40% of the homes sold within 30 days or less, which is pretty standard over the last while that we've been tracking that. Okay, let's zoom into the different areas of the city, and then following this, I will go over the monthly charts and the Ottawa Real Estate Board data. First, we have the central urban region. We see that the active listings are down across property types, most notably detached and condos, although it's probably percentage-wise, it's about right across the board. And sales were down across property types, although steady for townhomes. For Canada and Stittsville, just a slight decrease in the number of active listings across property types, and sales were actually up for detached and condos just slightly, and down slightly for townhomes. In Barrhaven, Riverside South, active listings are down slightly for cross property types, and sales were up fairly significantly for detached and down slightly for condos and townhomes. And in Orleans, again, inventory is down across property types, And you'll notice that Orleans actually has a bit higher inventory for detached homes than the other areas right now. And the sales were down for detached and towns and slightly up for condos. As always, I've got the full data in chart form for all the different property types, should you wish to look at them. Okay, so the monthly snapshot for the Ottawa Real Estate Board, and well, the first few slides are Ottawa Real Estate Board stats, and then after that I'll recap a couple of the slides for the City of Ottawa boundaries that I normally share. Okay, so this is the Ottawa Real Estate Board stats information. We had 625 residential, so that's detached semis and towns in the month of November, and that sales volume is down by about 5% from what we had in November 2022. The sale price is up slightly from what it was in November 2022. Condos were 200 condo sales in the month of November, and that's up about 6.5% from November 2022. And sales prices were up by about 1.6% from 2022. When we look at year to date, we do have to consider that we're still in the negatives. It's been showing negative all year long, and it's going to continue just because we had such high prices at the beginning of 2022. So we're still definitely not at the average prices we had in 2022. And the beginning of 2022 also had incredibly high sales volume, and that's why you've still got negatives for both of those data points. Okay, so this is the City of Ottawa boundary residential last 12 months. So we can see the drop in month-to-month prices, but pretty steady from what it was from the first bar to the last bar for sales prices. And for condos, you can see, again, there's a little bit more volatility month to month and seasonal, and prices are up slightly. Sales volume, according to this, is up from what it was at the beginning of November of 2022. Okay, so this chart is the month-over-month average sale price for broken down into the different property types. And I just did update this as of December 10th instead of last week's data. So we see that for the most part, the average sale price was down from October to November. I wouldn't read a whole lot into this. I don't think the prices dropped that much. Sometimes it can just be which properties are selling, smaller detached homes selling versus the larger luxury ones. And condos, same thing. A lot more volatility in semi-detached condos and stuff like that. Okay, so these are, again, the new version of the average sale prices for detached. And so this is replacing the multiple lines in the same diagrams. I like this format because you can look at it month to month. You can compare black line to black line, or you can also compare it year over year. So you can compare November 2023, the November line there, to the next darkest line. So you can see that the average sale price for detached homes was up slightly from November 2022, but down from, November 2021. And you can sort of see the trends there. This one here is the semi-detached. It's the blue here. And again, with caveat with this is semi-detached is very, very volatile. It really depends on what sells. You've got older semi-detached that are selling in like the $500,000-$600,000 range, and you've got luxury ones in Westboro and different areas of the city that are selling for well over $1 million. So it really depends on what is selling, and there's just a lot smaller segment of the housing stock for semi-detached. And for townhomes, obviously there's lots of townhomes. It's a little bit more of a steadier market. You can see the trends don't jump up and down a whole lot. The average sale price month to month is up, and also year over year for November. But again, you can see the November 2021 and leading into 2022 there, those were the peak prices. And here I have not split up the condos into row homes and apartments. This is all condos for the City of Ottawa boundaries. And much like the semi-detached, we have condos are a lot more volatile based on what is selling, because you've got luxury condos and you've got quite economical condos mixed in there. So I did update the average days to sell. It was townhomes and condos, I think, just adjusted perhaps by 1 day. But we can see that with the increased inventory over the last few months, the average days to sell has climbed. And here we've got the monthly sales overall for the whole city of Ottawa boundaries over the last 10 years. Again, updated for the last few days there, just to make sure that I had the most up-to-date data. We can see that November 2023 was the lowest in the last 10 years. Okay, so this chart shows us the months of inventory, and I did update it based on December 10th data. Did change a couple of the townhome, and the condos went up by 0.1 months. We do see that the detached are sitting just above the 4-month level, and townhomes and condos are in the 3. And, again, the months of inventory is the number of months it would take to sell all the current inventory at the current sales rate if no other properties came on the market. And just as a recap, we've got the seller's market, balanced market, and buyer's market. Traditionally, these are the zones. If you've got 4 months or less of inventory, then it would be considered a seller's market. We are sitting just above that in a balanced market for the detached homes, and for the towns and condos, we are still technically, by the numbers, we're still in the seller's market. I really do believe, if you look at the fact that, since 2017 was the last time we really had a balanced, or even coming close, about 2016 for the buyer's market. So even though technically by the numbers we are still in a seller's or just a low balance market there, I think buyers are feeling much more power and feeling like it's a buyer's market. And in a lot of cases, in certain pockets where there might be a lot more inventory, we may be more in a buyer's market than what it may seem. There are certain areas of the city that are still seeing multiples and certain types of homes. So some places might be more like a seller's market. A lot of the city would probably be very balanced, and there are certain areas that where buyers have the upper hand. Okay, so that's this week's update. I really appreciate when people leave me comments, let me know what they like or dislike about the update. Let me know if the new charts work for you. I think they work better for me. So unless someone tells me that they prefer something else, I'm going to keep them that way. Please let me know what you think, and I hope you have a fantastic week.